We're just going to jump right into today's tutorial. So here's some things you'll need. I'm using black magic grease mixed with a little bit of my wild growth hair oil. I'm also using some gorilla snot to lay down my edges. Y'all know I got that black girl hair, so this lays down my edges for a good couple of hours with no curls. You're also going to need a pair of scissors or shears, a rat tail comb for parting. I do not suggest combing your natural hair with this if you have any type of 4A, 4B, or 4C hair, and as well as the hair of your choice. I'll be using Freetress Water Wave and Bohemian Curl. So to begin, I'm just going to be taking that rat tail comb and some of my gorilla snot and just begin to shape and lay and mold. I didn't mean to say shape. I'll mold my edges down so that way by the time I'm finished with my crochet install, that my edges would be nice and set and dry and, in place.
But for everyone, nothing they should go. If you say that it's over, if you say that it's over, I won't die. If you say that it's over, if you say that it's over, I won't die. I'll just come back for more. I'll just come back for more. We'll meet again for sure. We'll meet again for sure. If you say that it's over, I won't die. You don't have to say it's over. You don't have to say it's through. You don't have to say it's time. Just goes back to you, yeah. Just goes back to you. You don't have to say you lost. You should tell the truth, yeah. Everything you do in time just goes back to you, yeah. Just goes back to you. Oh, if you say that it's over, I won't die. If you say that it's over, if you say that it's over, I won't die. Oh, I'll just come back for more. I'll just come back for more. We'll meet again for sure. If you say that it's over, I won't die. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord.
I'm taking that blue magic grease and I'm just applying this to my scalp and to the hair as well to make sure that my scalp and my hair is completely moisturized and saturated. Synthetic hair can tend to dry out your hair a lot, so making sure that you moisturize is vital in order for it to really be a protective style. I have a combination of blue magic with wild growth hair oil, vitamin E oil, shea butter, jojoba oil, and tea tree oil mixed into my hair grease, so that way it cuts down on all of those potent smells and it keeps my hair extremely moisturized. And I apply this mixture to my hair and scalp at least 2 to 3 times a week, depending on the weather, how cold it is outside. X, Y, and Z really determines on how much moisture my hair is sucking up.
You look like the last time.
So here is my struggle braid pattern. Like I told you guys, I am currently growing out my sides and my undercut, so this is going to be a protective style just to kind of help to grow things back out. And I only keep my hair in for like maybe 2 to 3 weeks, so this is okay. This braid pattern is going to work for now, but I just have some small cornrows in the front and then I have larger cornrows connecting in the back, and then I just connected all the braids, and then I had one braid hanging, so now I'm crocheting that through instead of sewing it, so that way I don't have any mistakes of cutting my hair or anything when it is time to take down my install. So I am going in with the Bohemian curl first, and I am going to cut that in half, considering that we are going to be creating a more shoulder length bob like hair style. I'm going to cut this in half. If you want your hair to be longer, I suggest just leaving it the length that it is, or this is actually a 22 inch and they do sell it in 12 inch. So if you want a longer length, you can just leave it as is, but I'm cutting this in half.
You don't have to say it's through.
The water wave doesn't come the same. As you can see, the top has that little bit of a ball, so I'm going to actually cut below the rubber band so that way there's no straight ends at all. You'll just get curls from root to tip.
You should tell the truth, yeah. Everything you do in time just goes back to you. Yeah.
Now this is how one section of hair comes. I do not install my hair like this because I don't like that oodles and noodles look. I actually split one piece into like maybe 4 to 5 pieces. I have 4 packs, but I'm probably going to use about 2.5 to 3 packs of hair. So I'm taking small sections, inserting the latch hook into the braid, attaching the hair and closing the hook, pulling it into the reverse direction, and creating a loop with my index and thumb. And then I'm just going to bring that hair around a couple of times, bring the hair through, and repeat this process about maybe 4 to 5 times. And wavier hair tends to knot really better, especially when you have smaller sections. But if you're using bigger pieces, I suggest creating at least 5 to 7 knots to make sure that within a couple of weeks that the hair doesn't slip out. So I'm going to repeat this process throughout majority of my head. This is going to be around the entire back portion, side, and then I'll do invisible knots when I get to the areas where I want to create my parts. This is very easier for me. This process takes me about maybe an hour and a half to complete, and this is with 3 packs of hair. So yeah, and I actually don't like really neat parts because it actually helps to camouflage the roots. I don't like to see parts when the wind blows, so it just makes for a more natural and realistic install. So now this is the Bohemian. They're very similar in curl pattern, but one has a slight more crinkle to it and the other one has more of a curl. So once again, I'm splitting that hair to create more of a frizzy look, and I'm going to repeat this entire process just like how I did with the water wave. So I'm going to alternate between water wave and Bohemian, and then with certain times I'm actually going to go in and mix the 2 curl patterns together. In case you're wondering why I mix curl patterns, if your hair is anything like mine, you don't have a consistent curl pattern all throughout your entire head. So I have some 3C, some 4A, some 4C. So I like to create different textures by mixing curl patterns. And you can use Caribbean Isis, I believe, has a water wave, but it has a different curl than the Freetress water wave, and that hair is a lot more softer in texture. So mixing the 2 gives your hair this really realistic, like wash and go type of fro. It looks extremely pretty, like you just put some Cantu on it and left the house. So if you're trying to achieve that look, I highly suggest using different curl patterns, and that's simply because the older the hair gets, when you first do it, it's really big, but then as the hair gets old, it kind of falls back into itself. So by using different curl patterns, it stops the hair from falling back into itself. It just keeps the hair kind of out. You know how when you get a pack of ramen noodles and everything is kind of like meshed together? Well, that's because all of the noodles are in the same shape. So if you have hair that is in different textures, it can't fall back into an original form, if that makes sense. So this is why I mix curl patterns.
Oh yeah. Oh. We meet again, good friend. You see the stars come down to meet you. You look like the last time. Let a new day come and greet you. Stuck in your ways, stuck in your mind. Stuck all the time and there, out of the room, especially mine. Used to be fine, I swear I was confused. Used to be blind. There was a moment in time when I thought of you.
So now I'm going to be moving on and showing you how I do my invisible knot method. I like to do this towards the back and part sections of my hair, and this is to create camouflage, so that way you don't see any knots or anything throughout my head. So instead of taking the entire piece of hair, you're going to split that hair into two pieces, as you can see demonstrated here. And just like how we were flipping the hair and then bringing it through, you're going to do that with only one strand of hair. So that way when you pull the two pieces, the knot is now going to be in the center and not underneath or above it, if that makes sense. So I'm going to continue to show you guys how the invisible knot method is done. This is how I do it, and with my clients, my installs last anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. Sometimes they keep it in for 2 months, and they are people who wash their crochet, so you definitely can, especially with this hair is great for washing. Yes, this piece right here got knotted, but I actually like stuff like that because it camouflages the knots a lot better. So I'm not really one that loves neat hair, especially on myself. Of course, if I'm doing it for a client, yeah, but for the most part, my hair is usually a little bit messy, and I like that. I don't like really neat look. I like to look like I just rolled out of bed and kind of effortless, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm going to repeat that entire process throughout the rest of the remaining braids that you see. So this way I have versatility. And just an FYI, if you ever choose to book with me, you can definitely guarantee that all of your crochet installs does come with versatile parting. I don't believe in charging extra for that. That's stupid. I believe that you should be able to have versatility with your install. Who wants to have a hairstyle for 8 weeks and not be able to do anything with it differently? So yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh. We meet again, good friend. You see the stars come down to meet you. You look like the last time. Let a new day come and greet you. Stuck in your ways, stuck in your mind. Stuck all the time and they're out of the room, especially mine. Used to be fine, I swear I was confused. Used to be blind. There was a moment in time when I thought of you. Now I'm on mine. Some say hey to everybody. Tell them I love them, it's good, it's out of the globe. Is everything like it should? Man, I don't know. But for everyone, I think they should go. If you say that it's over, if you say that it's over, I won't die, die, die. Say that it's over. If you say that it's over, I won't die. I'll just come back for more. I'll just come back for more. We'll meet again for sure. We'll meet again for sure. Say that it's over, I won't die. You don't have to say it's over. You don't have to say it's through. You don't have to say it's time. Just goes back to you, yeah. Just goes back to you. You don't have to say you lost. You should tell the truth, yeah. Everything you do in time just goes back to you, yeah. Just goes back to you. Oh, if you say that it's over, I won't die, die, die. If you say that it's over, if you say that it's over, I won't die. Oh, whoa. I'll just come back for more. I'll just come back for more. We'll meet again for sure.
So as you guys can see how natural the parting area looks like, there is no trace of knots. It just looks like it's growing out of my scalp, and that's what I like my crochet installs to look like. The great part about crochet, especially with curly styles like this, is that the older the style is, the more natural the hair looks, because by the time all that new growth comes in, you really ain't gonna see no knots. I personally don't like to see a lot of parts like clean scalp because it looks a little obvious, but having all of the new growth and everything really helps to camouflage everything, and it looks great.
Oh yeah. Oh. We meet again, good friend. You see the stars come down to meet you. You look like the last time. Let a new day come and greet you. Stuck in your ways, stuck in your mind. Stuck all the time and they're out of the room, especially mine. Used to be fine, I swear I was confused. Used to be blind. There was a moment in time when I thought of you. Now I'm on mine. Some say hey to everybody. Tell them I love them, it's good this side of the globe. Is everything like it should? Man, I don't know. But for everyone, I think they should go. If you say that it's over, if you say that it's over, I won't die, die, die. Say that it's over. If you say that it's over, I won't die. I'll just come back for more. I'll just come back for more. We'll meet again for sure. We'll meet again for sure. Say that it's over, I won't die. You don't have to say it's over. You don't have to say it's
So I'm just trimming the ends off of the hair. That's pretty much it. I didn't really do anything much to it. I don't like really neat hair. I like my hair to be rather messy, like I said earlier. So I just kind of left like some of the longer pieces that you see sticking out. It just looks a lot more natural to me, so I didn't do a whole lot of cutting or anything. But just keep in mind that this hair does shrink after a couple of wears. It's synthetic hair, so once it's like rubbing up on clothes and stuff, it'll shrink. But that's pretty much it. I'm going to insert a little picture of myself rocking this hair the next day. And yeah, I did slick down my edges again right on the side where my part is. Yeah, just because I think with my constant hand rubbing against it to install it, it just kind of got messed up. So I did fix that. But other than that, yeah, that was pretty much it. I just kind of fluffed the hair out. As you guys can see, it looks extremely natural. And yeah, that was it. So I hope this was helpful. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below if you have any questions. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.